I'm gonna give you the best grip strength exercises for grapplers. Let's get into it. Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Barner here with Overtime Athletes. I'm with my brother, Phil Daru. Phil, pleasure to have you. And one question that we commonly get is best grip strength, specifically for grapplers, but for all combat athletes.
Yeah, I mean, grappling and even in any combat sport, your grip is vital. It's important to have wrist control. It's important to, one, stop any type of break or any type of fracture in the hand or the wrist.
Sure.
So we wanna make sure we're strengthening up the grip itself and then also strengthening up the wrist and the hands.
Okay.
So I got 3 good ones that I usually use with all my fighters. Now I work with, I don't know, hundreds of athletes and primarily combat sport athletes and grapplers. So what I wanna do is I wanna show you the keys that I actually use to help get grip strength, but you can use it anywhere. You don't need to have a whole lot of equipment.
Okay.
Right, so it's easy, it's available for you.
Right.
And also it'll get you some strong grips.
Gotcha.
Okay, so for the first one, we're gonna go ahead and use a battle rope or any rope that you can get from Harbor Freight or Tractor Supply or anywhere that holds some heavy ropes, right? And you don't need a gym, but you can use it anywhere. You can use it at a park, you know, you can use it in your front yard. Hopefully your neighbors won't get too mad at you. But we're gonna go ahead and attach it to something heavy. So whether that be a tire or a sled like we have here. Good thing about OTA is they have a ton of great strongman equipment and equipment for athletes, so we're gonna utilize this. Now, all we're trying to do is use a hand-over-hand approach. And when in grappling, when you're trying to get wrist control, you need to make sure that you have a strong grip in the beginning, and then you can rotate and curl the wrist in, because that's how you're going to bring your opponent in and maintain a good, solid position. So I'm gonna go ahead and get an athletic position here, and then I'm just gonna grab, rotate, and pull in. Another thing that you're gonna be doing is working your back, so you're hitting your posterior chain. And as I'm pulling, maintaining the grip position, strong grip as I go to rotate my wrist through. All the way down. You're gonna keep this going for as long as possible without your grip giving out. You can do this for 20 yards, if you wanna leave it there, or you can do it for reps. Okay, you can also do it for time. If you're looking for conditioning, I would obviously go 30 seconds to a minute, and you could do this in a circuit fashion, or if you just wanna work it in an isolated fashion or just want to work it as far as just an exercise, you can do it for sets and reps too as well.
I love that. I think that's a gem too, how you explained turning the wrist, because sometimes obviously when you're going through it, you're just going. And if it's completely underhand like that, obviously it's defeating the purpose of getting the adaptation that you're referring to.
Exactly. So when I'm trying to get wrist control, I'm trying to grab and I'm trying to pull in, and I want to get either, if I'm trying to get closer to my opponent, obviously I want to pull into midline. So I'm gonna wrist control, pull in tight. This is definitely gonna help when it comes to that. All right, so the next one, we're gonna use some dumbbells. Now with the dumbbells, you can, ideally, you wanna grab something that is gonna be wider in circumference because it's gonna challenge the grip, right? So get something like fat grips, or you can get dumbbells with a thicker grip, right? Thicker handle. And from there, all you're gonna do is just grab, hold up top, and then you can go for a walk. Standard farmer's carries, right? Right here, shoulders are back, maintaining that grip, not letting it slip out of the hands, controlling it all the way down. Back again. Again, I like to go about 50 to maybe even 100 feet. And you can do this either for reps and sets or for time.
So I was gonna ask you, is this one of these exercises where you think of it more from a volume perspective? Or are you thinking at it more from a, let's go heavy, shorter distances?
Yeah, so you can do both, right? So sometimes I'll even get some type of testing on this, right? So I'll go as heavy as we need to go, whether it is, 50, 60% of the body weight, and we can go for as long as possible, and then I can jot down that time, or we can do it for conditioning inside of a circuit, right? And then we'll do obviously like a minute on, minute off.
Sure.
All right, so the last one we're gonna do is actually gonna work the finger strength too as well. So if you are a grappler and even a jiu-jitsu practitioner that works primarily in the gi, you need strong fingers and obviously you need strong grip. So what we're gonna do is gonna go ahead, grab 2 plates. It can be 5 pounds or 2.5 pounds. You're gonna go ahead and turn them on the inside. So there's no grip, right? You can't grip any ridges there. And then from there, you're gonna take a bench and we're just gonna go ahead and do standard wrist curls. But again, we're gonna go ahead and use only the fingers to hold on to it. Super simple. These can be done for high reps. looking in the 10 to 20 repetition range. You can also go backwards. And this is obviously way harder. So you got extension and flexion.
I love that variation. We've always done with our baseball, you know, plate pinchers, put the plate in the middle.
I've seen that.
But I never thought about that from obviously using the smooth side and being able to pinch and then actually add
Yeah,
a little
absolutely.
bit more.
And you can grab 2.5s, go in that 90-degree position, and also work on rotation too as well. And then that could be something of a superset or a tri-set if you wanted to do the pinch, grab, walk with it, and then go and do your curls.
I love it. Now, from a development standpoint, is this like, you know, for instance, in, you know, combat athletes, is this something that you just are programming throughout and you're increasing the intensity through, you know, volume, weight, or is there a specific progression with the variations to it? Everything.
Yeah, it could be progressed through time, right? Time domains or time under tension, right? It can be progressed through sets and reps.
Gotcha.
And then if they have the ability to do so, yeah, we can progress it with weight, especially with the farmer's carries.
So are you focused, like, are you specifically focused on progressing that?
I want to, yeah, I want to. And then I also want to see transfer, right? So I want to actually hear them feel more comfortable and more in control while they're rolling.
How fast do you see a transfer? How fast do you see an adaptation?
Most of the time you're looking at around 2 to 3 weeks where people really start to feel it.
Gotcha.
Especially the ones that never trained it before, they obviously get a quicker adaptation. My high level guys, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to feel it better. And also the main thing, and I think Kevin Lee actually told me this, is like he felt like he was hitting harder. And that's because it just stiffened up the wrist a little bit more. And obviously you have some stability there when you go to throw your punches. I'm also auto-regulating every day because they are working their grip strength inside of their training. Sure. So if, let's say for instance, their forearms are shot, right? Or we use a dynamometer to identify whether they are like in a state of fatigue or not.
Gotcha.
So I'll get a basic grip test. So I'll get a baseline reading on a dynamometer to see how well, and every day they come in to train with me, or at least the days that I feel like they need to get tested because of the fact that I can just see them when they walk in. You know the difference, like as a coach, you can just identify if that athlete is somewhat fatigued or stressed. So we'll use that as an objective indicator to down-regulate or just bring down the overall volume.
Regress and progress.
Yep.
Got you. And I mean, from your perspective, obviously, us being coaches, you know that it transfers over, you know, whether it be a defender in football, even a wide receiver, right? Or a baseball athlete. All of these are going to transfer over to multiple sports. Obviously, this is to me, this is one of those underrated, overlooked, you know, exercises, things that's globally worked. Just like we were talking about the lower limb, right? A lot of people didn't focus on the lower limb. Now it's coming back, right? But
Thanks to you.
But this from your perspective, I feel like is something that athletes need to add. It doesn't create a lot of stress.
No.
Right? From a bird's eye view to the athlete, so you can constantly implement this in, and I think it's a lot of bang for your buck.
Well, on top of that, like this is good for just overall health, right? And we talked about this before off air, is that athletes, they're looking for peak performance. They're looking to be the best athlete they can be, and sometimes that's not the most healthy they can be. One, they're all-cause mortality, because we've seen some benefits in that as far as like studies and research on grip strength and how it correlates over to all-cause mortality. So basically, death rate goes down by the ability to have a stronger grip over time. And I think primarily it's just because of bone integrity, right? And calcium. And it's just a good indicator. Now, don't quote me on that. There's obviously conflicting studies, but at the end of the day, a stronger grip is going to make you stronger in the weight room, on the field, on the court, and also in life.
Right. And I mean, you just nailed it when you said it. It's like you work with high-level grapplers on a daily basis, and these guys are coming in, they're getting a little bit of the benefit, and they don't even realize that they're lacking that strength. You add a little bit of resistance to it, you add some variation to it. Next thing you know, they're like, you just unlocked a whole different level for me as far as what I'm doing. So it's one of those little things that we talked about is overlooked.
I think that a lot of times what I see is that they're very specific in their grip strength. So like they can maybe hold a wrist control, or they can hold a gi in a certain position and maintain that position. But when I would get them inside the weight room, like when they do a deadlift, right, their grip gives out before they're able to pull the bar off the floor, or to lock out.
So you're attacking it in a different way, in a different range of motion.
Exactly.
I love it.
Longer range of motion.
Right.
So it's quasi-isometric, and also it longer time under tension too as well.
Right. Phil, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Guys, if you're interested, check out Phil. I'll drop his channel down below. He is the best combat athlete coaches in the business. 3-time, 4-time?
5-time.
5-time, my man.